In 2024, images of mountains of discarded clothing piling up in deserts, landfills, and overseas dump sites made one thing brutally clear. The modern clothing industry is not selling fashion anymore. It is selling disposable fabric, engineered to look good for a moment and fail on schedule. Why do brand new jeans split at the crotch after one season, sweaters pill after 3 wears, and t-shirts twist into corkscrews after a few washes? Because the system that replaced real garment manufacturing was never designed to make clothes that last. And why are the biggest brands in the world replacing natural fibers, sturdy stitching, and durable construction with plastic blends, glued components, and paper-thin fabric that cannot survive normal life? In this investigation, we are going to look at the profit model that forces this decline, and expose the specific material failures ruining the 2026 clothing market, and show you the only garments left on the market that are actually built to be worn. The story begins with the fall of the king. For decades, a good piece of clothing was a tool. A heavy cotton sweatshirt, a pair of rigid denim jeans, a wool coat, or a full-grain leather boot was expected to last for years. It might fade, soften, and break in, but it did not disintegrate. Old workwear, old military surplus, and even mall-brand basics from the 1990s and early 2000s were often overbuilt by today's standards. The fabric was heavier, the seams were stronger, the materials were simpler. It was not luxurious and it was not trend-driven, but it was dependable. Then the entire industry changed. Brands stopped selling seasonal clothing and started selling weekly novelty. Instead of building garments to survive years of wear, they built them to survive the return window, the changing room, and the first few Instagram photos. They promised more style, lower prices, and endless variety. But what they delivered was a closet full of short-lived garbage. The modern fast fashion garment does not fail by accident. It fails by design. This is not just a problem with one brand or one bad factory. This is an industry-wide collapse driven by one specific force: the fast fashion business model. Under the current retail system, brands are rewarded for speed, low cost, and high turnover, not durability. If a shirt lasts 10 years, you buy one shirt. If it shrinks, pills, stretches, and loses its shape in 6 months, you come back and buy 3 more. That is not a bug in the system. That is the system working exactly as intended. To hit those margin targets, designers and sourcing teams are forced to cut fabric weight, replace long staple natural fibers with cheaper synthetic blends, reduce stitch density, simplify construction, and move production to whichever factory can make the garment for a few cents less. The result is a piece of clothing under constant stress before you even put it on. Think of it this way: a heavyweight, 100% cotton t-shirt from 20 years ago is like a cast-iron pan on a stove. It can take heat, movement, and repetition without losing its structure. A modern fast fashion t-shirt is like a paper plate in the microwave. It can hold the shape for a moment, but it was never made for real use. That is why we are seeing the death of the 10-year garment. Look at denim. Traditional jeans were built from heavier cotton fabrics that could take abrasion, sweat, bending, and repeated washing. But modern jeans are often made with lightweight stretch denim, blended with elastane, so they feel soft and flattering in the fitting room. That softness comes at a cost. The elastic fibers break down with heat, friction, and repeated movement. The knees bag out, the seat thins, the crotch blows apart. The fabric that feels comfortable on day 1 becomes structurally weak by month 6. Many of these jeans are also aggressively pre-washed, sanded, and chemically softened before they ever reach the store, meaning the material has already spent part of its lifespan before you even buy it. Then there are the seams. On older garments, seams were functional engineering. They were meant to hold weight and resist failure. On modern cheap garments, seams are often built with lower stitch counts, weaker thread, and rushed assembly. That is why you see side seams twisting around the body after washing, hems waving like potato chips, and shoulder seams crawling forward out of place. The shirt did not somehow mysteriously lose shape. It never had proper shape to begin with. It was cut fast, sewn fast, and sold fast. And then we get to knitwear, one of the biggest scams in the entire industry. Walk into a mall in 2026, and you will see sweaters that look cozy, soft, and luxurious under store lighting. But touch the label, and you will find acrylic, nylon, recycled polyester, and vague fiber blends marketed with soft focus language like brushed, cloud, or luxe. What does that actually mean? It means short and weak synthetic fibers engineered to feel fluffy on the hanger and pill like a tennis ball the moment they meet friction. The reason your new sweater looks 10 years old after a month is not because you wore it too hard. It is because the yarn itself is weak, fuzzy, and unstable. The same lie exists in active wear. Brands sell you performance fabrics that are really thin plastic knits with heat-bonded seams, glued trims, and coatings that begin breaking down under sweat, detergent, and dryer heat. The leggings go sheer, the waistbands lose recovery, the bonded hems peel apart, the anti-odor finish vanishes. The garment looks technical because it is covered in marketing language, but in many cases it is less durable than a basic cotton athletic short from 20 years ago. Even dress clothes have been hollowed out. Cheap blazers now rely on fused construction that bubbles and separates with heat. Dress shirts use thin fabric and weak collars that wilt after repeated laundering. Faux leather jackets crack and peel because they are not leather at all. They are plastic coatings applied to cheap base fabrics. The entire rack is built around the illusion of value. It photographs like clothing, hangs like clothing, and sells like clothing, but it does not perform like clothing. So why are you paying more money than ever for garments that are objectively less durable than what people wore a generation ago? Because the modern clothing industry is no longer in the business of making wardrobe staples. It is in the business of manufacturing controlled dissatisfaction. Your clothes are designed to feel outdated, misshapen, dead or worn out before you are emotionally finished with them. They are engineered for the scroll, not for real life. They are designed to look good under bright retail lighting and on a 6-inch phone screen, not to survive commuting, washing, weather, and time. The industry replaced durable construction with trend churn. It replaced repairability with replacement. It replaced 100% cotton, wool, linen, and leather with polyester blends, fake textures, and chemical finishes. It replaced quality control with speed to market. That is why so many closets are full, and so many people still feel like they have nothing to wear. The problem is not your taste. The problem is that you are shopping in a market flooded with garments that were never meant to become part of a stable wardrobe. So what is the solution if you want clothes that actually function like clothes? You have two options. Option one is to step up to the heritage and workwear tier. Just as the heavy-duty truck market still contains machines built for actual labor, the workwear and heritage clothing market still contains garments designed around fabric weight, repairability, and long-term wear. Heavyweight 100% cotton tees, rigid denim, canvas chore coats, wool overshirts, welted boots, and properly stitched outerwear may cost more up front, but they are built on a completely different philosophy. The bright spot in this entire industry is the return of simple, old-school construction. There are still manufacturers making garments with real fabric, real seams, and real margin for wear. They are not always fashionable. They are not always cheap. But they are built like clothes used to be built. A proper pair of heavyweight denim jeans is the Godzilla V8 of the clothing world. No stretch fibers, no fake softness, no chemical shortcut pretending to be comfort. Just thick cotton, straightforward construction, and material that gets better the longer you wear it. The same is true of a dense wool sweater, a canvas work jacket, or a full-grain leather boot that can actually be resoled. These products feel almost primitive compared to the thin, hyper-optimized garments filling most stores today, but that is exactly why they last. Option 2 is to reject the new market entirely. Just like with vehicles, the smartest move is often to buy from the pre-disposable era. A vintage wool coat, an older pair of 100% cotton Levi's, a used made-in-USA sweatshirt, an old military jacket, or a second-hand leather belt from before everything became bonded, blended, and outsourced will often outlast something brand new hanging in a premium retail store today. Older garments were not perfect, but many were made before every square inch of fabric had to justify itself to a spreadsheet. Brands want you to focus on influencer collaborations, aesthetic packaging, sustainability slogans, and endless micro-trends. They want you to ignore the fact that the shirt is thinner than last year, the denim contains more plastic, the coat is fused instead of sewn, and the sweater is basically fluffed up petroleum. They want you to keep mistaking novelty for quality. Do not trade a solid wardrobe for a revolving subscription to disappointment. And do not throw away a well-made older jacket just because a new one has a cleaner silhouette and a bigger advertising budget. The truth is simple. Most new clothes are not garbage because people forgot how to make clothes. They are garbage because durability is bad for repeat sales. A garment that lasts is a finished transaction. A garment that fails is a future customer. The 10-year garment is dead in the mall, but it is still alive in workwear stores, heritage makers, thrift shops, vintage racks, and the back of your own closet if you know what to look for. In our next investigation, we will expose the outlet store trick, the fake discount labels, and the branding loopholes companies use to convince you that lower quality is actually a great deal.